Hey YouTube, this video is very laggy, unfortunately, but that is just how my internet was today. And I did make a new team, and instead of starting off with my leader, I'm going to start off with my physical sleeper, because my leader burns stuff, and he has a lot of fire types on his team. Or he has two, and he probably saw my Sibyl coming. So I go into Haxorus just to dual chop his Ninetales, and luckily for me, his Will-O-Wisp misses, and so I'm pretty much free to rain about on his parade with my dragon thing, dinosaur. Yeah. So Haxorus takes out one, and he goes into a Latios, and I think about switching, but I decide not to since it's a stab, and I do get a critical hit, so pretty dang lucky. I don't know if it mattered because I hit twice. Then he goes into a Dawn Fan, and I'm going to see how much Dual Chop does this thing, and it does, like, nothing. It's kind of unfortunate. So this thing is going to wall me, and I really don't want to switch out because I don't know what kind of set it has because I've never seen one of these things battle before. So I'm going to stay in, and I am scarfed because I have, like, below 290 speed. Oh no, I have 293 speed, so I'm scarfed, so that's why I keep using dual chop, obviously. So next, he earthquakes me, I do believe, after this dual chop, and it does a significant amount because Dawn Fan is ground, which means earthquake is stabbed. I did not know Dawn Fan could use this next move. It kind of took me by surprise. He uses Ice Shard. Well, I did know he could use that before, just didn't expect him to use it again. So, Haxorus is down. So I decide to go into my lead on my second Pokemon. For some reason, it doesn't show my Pokemon is dead, but it is. I'm going to try and Will-O-Wisp him, and it misses. And it has like 90 accuracy, I do believe, and he earthquakes me. That takes me down pretty far. Knowing I can't live another one of those, I'm going to try and Will-O-Wisp him again, but he switches out into a Victini, and that does nothing because you can't burn a fire type. So I'm going to go for a taunt, expecting him to go for a stat boosting move. But he does do something else, and I was kind of a little irritated about that. He goes for a V-Create, and that kills me. The good thing is he dropped his defense and speed, so I could probably take it out easily with something. So I decide to go into my Gliscor, and he knows I have Earthquake, so I'm going to predict a switch and go for a sub. And he does switch into a Wobbuffet, and I completely forgot his ability, so I was just pretty much screwed in a little bit. I go for a Toxic, because I do know this thing likes to reflect moves back at you, and he Encores me after this Toxic. Encore I never seen use, and it just gets used a lot now, so yeah. And then, so I have a Toxic Wobbuffet, and I now know Wobbuffet's Shadow Tag won't let me switch out. And then he decides to go into Venusaur because he knows he can't do any damage to me now. So, I'm going to try and Toxic because that's the only move I can use, and it doesn't do anything. Second time he's got me on that, and I'm going to switch because I am back to where I had Stealth Rocks damage me. And I know I can take it again, so I'm going to go into a Dusclops. And he probably predicted the switch, because I can't really do any damage. Goes for a Solar Beam. Fortunately, I have an Eviolated Dusclops, so that did not take me out. But then he goes for a Sleep Powder. And I've been really sick of people putting me to sleep. And I usually end up getting put to sleep for 2 turns, and then I die. But luckily, I do get awake, and I go for a pain split, because Dusclops has really low HP. I mean, really low. Most of his EVs are going to defense and special defense. And that takes the Venusaur down below 2/3. So then I pick another Sleep Powder and go for Protect. And he does have Black Sludge, so this Protect only kept me awake, really. And I'm pretty sure that Protect would fail, so I decide to attack, and he goes for Solar Beam and drops me down pretty far. I'm going to try and burn this thing before I go down, because I can't really do much else, because I'm not getting any more HP back. You guys didn't notice? So he has a burned Venusaur, and I did burn a sweeper, but it is a special sweeper. And it does have chlorophyll, I do believe, because it's moving extremely fast. I was thinking about sending in an Alakazam, but then I realized that Venusaur outspeeds Alakazam in the sunlight. But I'm getting way ahead of myself because I'm still alive. So he's gonna Solar Beam me, and then I'm gonna die, which was kind of expected. I could have switched out into Dusclops for a fodder later, but that would not have worked. And you will see why it did not, or would not have. So I go into I'm Purple, and I take some rocks, and I'm expecting him to go for a Solar Beam, and he goes for a Hidden Power Fire, or not Hidden Power Fire, fail. I don't know what it was, but it did not take me out. And I go for a Hex at 3 times power, and that kills him. I do run Hex instead of Shadow Ball because it does more damage when someone has a status condition. So he has a Donphan out, and I completely forgot I can use Ice Shard, and so it takes out I'm Purple. And I'm like, crap. Because now we're all tied up, and he has a wall out. That's really not good for my team. But I realize that Donphan is more of a defensive wall, so I go for a Psychic and kill him. And I have a Life Orb Alakazam without Substitute, so that doesn't give that away. And then he goes into a Wobbuffet, and I'm going to taunt him, because I think he would use Encore, but he goes for a Mirror Coat instead. And now when he tried to go for a Mirror Coat again, I want to do as much damage as possible, because my Alakazam is pretty much obsolete, because he has 2 Psychic Pokemon left, and one of them is a Fire type, so my moves aren't going to do anything. And so he goes for a Mirror Coat, and that kills me. The Hidden Power was Hidden Power Bug, and Wobbuffet does have very high HP, so that didn't not look like it did anything, but it did do relatively a lot. So I go back into my Gliscor, and I'm going to predict an Encore in Sub, but he switches out into Victini. And I don't really know how that switch worked. I don't really know how the next one works out either. So, probably thinking I'm going to use Toxic. He switches back out into Wobbuffet, but I'm going to use Earthquake. And, yeah. Yeah, it was really stupid, by the way. And it does nothing. And I'm expecting him to Encore me, or try and do something else. So I'm going to go for a Protect. Try and see what he does. And he does go for the Encore. But that really wouldn't have mattered anyway, because I don't know if it affects you when you have a sub up, but I pretty much only needed to use Earthquake. So that Wobbuffet's pretty much useless now. Kind of surprised it didn't have Destiny Bond on it, but it probably did, but sub wouldn't let that happen. So I'm going to go for a final Earthquake to take it down. That Toxic didn't really help much at all, unfortunately. So now all he has left is a Victini. And I know it looks like I have 2 Pokemon left, but really I only have 1. And his Zen Headbutt breaks my sub because it's Stab, and Victini has 100 base stats. And I go for a Stab Super Effective Earthquake. It takes it down below half. is Victini can be played anyway because it has even base stats. So Winnie goes for a Zen Headbutt, and that takes me down to 67. But this next Earthquake will kill him, unfortunately. So that was a really great battle. It's been my closest battle since like 2010. I know I've said battles have been close before, but this is the absolute closest I've had. I would give you his channel, but I do not know it, unfortunately. So thank you guys for watching. I do have 45 video views, I believe. Oh wait, no, it's 50. I hope to get that number up in the future. Click the like button, because, you know, that helps and stuff. And thank you guys for watching.